Welcome to the Tech News. This week, Google created a blog post stating that sideloading on Android isn't going away. Google stated that their new developer verification requirements are meant to improve safety. The alternative app store, F-Droid, warned that the new rules by Google could make it impossible to support open source app repositories on Android. But Google, of course, pushed back, stating that, again, sideloading isn't going anywhere. Apple and Google have removed ice tracking apps from their respective stores. The apps IceBlock and Red Dot allowed its users to report ice sightings, much like in Google Maps you can report speed traps and road hazards. Apple reported that it took down the app after pressure from the Trump administration. As for Google, they took down the app but had not been contacted by the Trump administration. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi said in a statement, IceBlock is designed to put ICE agents at risk just for doing their jobs, and violence against law enforcement is intolerable red line that cannot be crossed. A team at Harvard built a quantum computing machine that can operate continuously for 2 hours. In the quantum computing world, this is quite the achievement. The previous best machines could only run for a few seconds. The issue that had to be overcome is where qubits would get lost or leave the system. The team found a way to replace the quantum particles as they would get lost without negatively affecting the data. A story straight out of Spycraft, a group of researchers from the University of California have developed software to capture vibrations from optical mice and turn them into audio. This requires higher performing mice, such as gaming mice, where the DPI settings are in the 2000s. The audio captured could be played back and listened to. If a group of people are talking around a desk with such a mouse, you'd be able to listen to the conversation. You may remember in 2014, MIT researchers figured out how to recreate audio from a high-speed footage capture from a bag of potato chips. The software for the optical mice is kind of similar in that it's detecting very subtle changes in the optical signal as vibrations from voices vibrate the mouse. In the ongoing battle between ARM and Qualcomm, it was announced this week that a U.S. District Court granted Qualcomm a complete victory in the lawsuit brought by ARM in 2022. As a result, Qualcomm can continue to sell chips developed by Nuvia. The background is that Qualcomm purchased Nuvia, a company that had licensed ARM technology. ARM argued that Qualcomm did not obtain the proper permits to transfer Nuvia's licensing, and that Nuvia was therefore in breach of contract. Hardware Unboxed discovered a long-time running issue with ARC GPUs had been resolved. The issue revolves around the CPU overhead that is required by the drivers. In the most recent build of the driver, the performance of ARC running on lower-end CPUs has risen. This is good news because if you're trying to build a budget PC, you don't want to have to buy a high-end CPU to pair with a low-end GPU. It just doesn't make sense. This way, you can buy a low-end CPU with your ARC card in confidence, knowing that you're going to get good performance. Two tech companies, Crest Robotics and Earthbuilt Technology, have teamed up to advance 3D structure printing and as a result created a 3D printer shaped like a spider. This technology is planned mostly for space colonies, but its application can be used here on Earth as well. Essentially, there's a lead truck and this spider-shaped robot. The truck will have all the materials in it going along a pipe into the robot, and it can extrude the materials. Now, we have seen this kind of technology before, but it was more of a hassle setting up the whole entire thing. This is a lot more maneuverable and is a lot easier to set up. It also has the potential to use materials from the location that it's at in its construction of whatever it's printing. This week, we got benchmarks for Qualcomm's new chip, the Snapdragon Elite X2. In Geekbench 6.5, the new chips outperform Apple's M4 Max in single-core performance, but falls behind in multi-core tests. In Cinebench 2024, the new chips are just 4% behind the Apple's M4 Max. It is kind of exciting to see the mobile CPU market compete with itself, but I like to see advancements wherever they may be. Microsoft announced that 365 Copilot is getting agent mode, allowing you to type a few prompts in your favorite Office program and poop out some AI slop. Yeah, they didn't say AI slop, but effectively it's vibe working. So now you can create that PowerPoint that you've been procrastinating in a few short seconds. Now, I don't know about you, but when I write these scripts for the news, I actually like to type them out. I don't know if I would trust AI to write the stories accurately, as AI doesn't always cite its sources or it just makes up stuff. So it would be very interesting to see those reports written by people with this AI technology completely fail and get everything wrong. That'd be very interesting. Intel announced supercores, a virtual fusion of two cores acting as one. This would benefit single-core processes as they could now run on both cores, oblivious that they are doing so, and the CPU would be able to work on each part of the thread behind the scenes. Intel knows that high core frequencies are inefficient in performance per watt, so the paradigm of making bigger, faster, more powerful cores can't last forever. As such, it appears that Intel really does know this, and also it kind of feels like they're admitting that they might have a problem, like not getting past 14 processes node, like you might see with TSMC with their 7, 5, and 2 processes. But it's good that Intel is progressing and thinking outside the box. This does, however, reduce your core count, as it is a bit of opposite of hyperthreading. That's been the news for the week. I will see you in the next episode. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button, and have a great day.